Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing wills in Thailand. So when we're discussing wills, a major issue that can come into the issue of wills is what's called testamentary intent. And testamentary intent is, did the person making the will intend to bequeath or intend to make that instrument when they made it? Essentially, did they know what they were doing? Which then raises the question of what's called capacity and or competence. Were they competent? Were they of sound mind when they went ahead and made this will? Now, I've unfortunately had to see people have their capacity eroded over the years, especially close family members over the years, and it's hard to watch it's just hard to watch. It's really hard to watch, actually. And unfortunately, a lawyer can be put in a very awkward position, especially where somebody clearly who does not have capacity anymore starts talking about making changes to their testamentary instruments and things of this nature. And then you get into a lot of ethical issues that lawyers have to deal with. The point of this video, though, is just kind of talking about this in a general sense so that folks understand, there's certain times to draft documentation that will pertain to one down the road. And sometimes it's a good idea, especially what I call middle older age, kind of middle 60s, where, clearly people, generally speaking, still have their capacity, have their competence. Making a hard and fast decision on a will and just sort of saying, kind of having the mindset of, look, I'm going to stick with this. This is what we're going to do. Because if you wait around, you could or if you try to change things later, you could run into competency issues. Now, it may be necessary to change things later. So again, this is all going to be circumstantially dependent. I'm not making a hard and fast recommendation. Oh, if you're in your 60s, set your will and never change it. That's not what I'm saying. But that said, when you get a little older, and I've watched this firsthand, and I'm not looking forward to going through it myself, as I inevitably will, unless I'm hit by a bus tomorrow. But, I'm not looking forward to having to go through this myself. But yeah, it's something to think about. Capacity is something to think about. Things that we do from a formality standpoint to deal with issues of capacity and competence, witnesses are a perfect example of why witnesses are very much part of the will process, at least here in Thailand, because that way you've at least got somebody else who, said, yeah, I saw them, and they looked compos mentis to me. They looked fine. I talked to them. Nothing out of the ordinary. So again, capacity and competence, major issues when it comes to wills. There are things that can be done from a formality standpoint to kind of deal with those issues. But another thing to think about if you are kind of a senior citizen and, again, you're in that kind of middle older age and you haven't dealt with, estate planning, probably not a bad time to look at that, and it's probably not a bad piece of advice to do that sooner rather than later.